and Entrepreneurship. Currently, she is the coordinator of the University of Lagos AI and Robotics Laboratory, AL. She is an associate professor and the current head of department in the Department of Computer Sciences, University of Lagos. She is passionate about impacting communities with creative and innovative projects. She has developed several models with machine learning techniques, one of which was to guide robots in a pre-entry safety inspection in the underground mines. She is also a recipient of several grants, including the Facebook Africa Grant, TED Fund, National Research Fund, and the UK Research and Innovation Grant to solve health-related problems using technology. She recently won the Outstanding Performance in Teaching Award of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, empowering the teachers. She has been working in the capacity of lead PI, co-PI, and co-I in different research projects. She recently completed research on gender inequality in healthcare systems using natural language processing NLP, a case study of sub-Saharan Africa. She was presented at the PyCon US 2024 conference. She's currently working on AI in education with her colleagues. Please, I would like for all of us to give a round of applause to Dr. Chika Banju, the HOD and Assistant Professor, Department Computer Science and Coordinator AI Lab, University of Lagos. Please, can we still give her a round of applause till she climbs the podium? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for that introduction. I'm sorry, I have a little flu that might be disturbing my speech, so please bear with me. Okay, so I'm here to talk on technologies that guide or that energy uses, the type of technology that has been developed, and the ones that are going to help in sustainability. Can I have my slides, please? Okay, sorry, there's a little break in transmission. They will put up the slides. Okay, so we are here. So we are going to talk on technologies for clean energy. And you know, this forum, West African Clean Energy Conference. So we're going to be looking at the kind of technologies. By the way, she has introduced me that my field is in the technology part. I'm not like an energy person, but I'm looking at things that are used, the kind of technology that have been used to develop energy in Africa and in the world in general. So next slide. Okay, so I'm going to just look at two agendas. The first one I'm going to look at is just what's the world view on this topic? How is the world viewing energy? How are they using renewable energy? Then I'll look at African view because I noticed that we are particular about how we are going to develop Africa in getting all of this. So that's why I said, let's look at world view and let's look at African view. That will give us a little comparison of where we are in the energy industry and the renewable energy at large. Next slide, please. Okay, so if you notice this is something that had to do with a part that is unsustainable. The kind of energy that we have been using presently is not sustainable, especially in Africa and not generally. However, even the renewable energy we are talking about that the conference is about has not gone like worldwide. It has not gone to everywhere, especially when you talk about coming to Africa. Even in the world, in the Western world, they have done some things that are working, but it is not global. It has not gotten to 100%. It has a lower percentage, even below 40% in the Western world. So that's why I showed this. This is just telling us less than 10% of our energy comes from renewables, less than 10. And our target is to make it 100%. And so that's why you can see that the world's population has grown over the last 50 years, but so has the energy used per person. We use the energy every day. We have our cell phone, a lot of, we have a laptop, we have everything that we do day to day that emits energy and also affects the environment. Because the essence of talking about renewable energy is for us to be able to have clean environments, something that is not going to pollute the air, so that we can have clean. Look, there are a lot of things going on in the climate environment, in the climate change, climate action, because of the kind of energy that is dissipated in the air. So that's why we are looking at, so what has been done in the past? This particular type we have, less than 10%, is unsustainable. So how can we sustain? And that's why we want to talk about. Next slide, please. So we have a clean energy part. There's a part that leads to clean energy. Remember I said 2 views, world view and African view. So we have a bright future. Of course, we know about solar energy. We know about wind power. We have the work that is happening in the world. This particular clean energy part is already the one existing. Wind and solar energy here has seen triple-digit growth over the last 5 years. It has grown exponentially. That's 5-digit growth. And if you look at the sustainable future, how does it look like? I'm so sorry, this screen is not sharp. I don't know how we're going to do it, but it's affecting the eye. So a sustainable future, could we ever power the world on clean energy? Is a question that we should ask ourselves. Could we ever power the world with clean energy? And you know what clean energy is? I don't need to repeat what they have been saying since yesterday. I know I wasn't here, but I know that people have talked about renewable energy, clean energy, and the ones that are not clean. So a sustainable future should be able to handle clean energy. Yes, we can. And how can we do that? And so this is the one that is existing. Powering the world on clean energy alone would take just 1% of the world's land mass, the area of the mass, powering the whole world. Next slide, please. So we have the cheap renewables, because these renewables that we are talking about, why it's still under 10% is because, of course, it doesn't come that cheap, especially for us in Africa. So we have the cheap renewables, we have the renewables race, and why prices will fall with time. Can you allow me to use my laptop, because this is affecting me? Can you? It will be showing while I see what I have. That will help, please. Can I just? Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much. So I don't know how you're seeing it, but I'm seeing very well now. Thank you. So, but we'll be flipping the two together. So the cheap renewables are the ones that, if you look at solar and wind, that we said that it's going to be very affordable very soon, because that's the cheapest that it can fall to. It will fall with time. You know, when things come out newly and you want to go and buy gadgets, if I buy a 64 gig RAM today and it's about 2.5 million, in the next 10 years, it won't be that amount anymore. So this will fall with time. So the ones that will fall, that will be cheaper for us to grab, is the solar and the wind. But for now, it has not gotten there in Africa, but it's already falling in the Western world. And that is part of the cheap renewables that we'll get with time. So we have the data-driven innovations. So that some innovations in the world has taken control of handling these renewable energies. What are these innovations? We have the digital wind farms, we have the smart grids, and we have the predictive maintenance. I will talk about this when I go down in the African part. What are these predictive? What do we use AI to do? That's what will happen. But this is already what's happening in the world view. Then we have the renewable race. So this is, imagine these countries that listed: China, US, Germany, India, Japan, Italy, and Spain. This is where they are. China is leading in this space of the renewable race. But I'm not sure there's any African country in this race that I'm showing here. so far, but this was about 2015, between 2015 2018. This is the race that we have, and this is how they are already using the renewable energy in their own countries. But why will prices fall? Because there are going to be more efficient plants coming up. So we are going to have bigger wind turbines. Yeah, we're going to have we're going to capture energy without wasting so much money, because things will fall. And average rotor diameter is going to help in us getting that. But this one is already what they have outside. So let's go to, here are some of the trends that is existing. Now, the ones that are already existing in the Western world, you have the solar power train. So this mode of transportation can run all day without recharge. They are using trains that use solar energy to move around. You don't really need to do anything, buy fuel, buy anything for you to move. So as BBC reported this was recent. I think it was 2023. As BBC reported in this video about the solar railway, the train exports 75% of the energy it creates back to the grid. So there's a lot of clean. There's nothing wasted in the air. There's no climate action happening that will affect with this type of transportation. Not the type that we are using with our fossil fuel, that when we transport, it pollutes the air. This type does not. It's clean. We don't have it yet in Africa yet. We are talking about what's going on outside. So we have the food waste solar panels. So now, instead of us, we have been talking about recycling. Instead of us going to throw away things and leave it there and it will pollute the environment, they will recycle even food. Because sometimes we say there are some recyclable things and things that are not recyclable. They can recycle even food to use it to make things called food waste solar panels. So there's solar panels now that is made from food, the waste that we even throw away from food. So you can see that when we talk about what technology is existing, this is something that is happening, that they are using things that we waste that pollutes the environment to create resource for us. And that is a powered food waste solar panels. Then we have the bladeless wind energy. So we have the wind turbines. Wind turbines usually have wings, but this one is bladeless. It's also existing, and it's an elastic rod. It's no more the normal wind turbine that we see. There's the rod. It's an elastic rod. It's used to secure the company's 3-meter tall bladeless turbine vertically into the ground. And what does it do? It is built to sway or oscillate within the wind speed range, and the vibration that results from this produces energy. So this helps also to produce energy, and this is one of the new trends that is happening in the energy industry. So this is bladeless wind energy. These bladeless turbines can be used in urban or residential areas. So if you talk about smart homes, this can be used to generate energy for the smart homes. So these are and it is a new technology as well. Then we have rechargeable tires. Imagine your tires. You just don't need to go and be pumping it. You just recharge it and you move it, and it makes the environment clean. So what does it do? Imagine a tire that adapts to weather circumstances. This is the type also that is existing. And road conditions or the way you want to travel. So there's a company called Goodyear. Goodyear's new innovation is a new innovation that just came out. It's created from a biological substance and strengthened with fibers, modeled with one of nature's strongest substances, the spider silk. This makes it completely biodegradable and incredibly durable. So imagine having these tires, because I know that we have tires that expire in the next maybe 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, but you have the one that can stay beyond, like say 10 years. And at the same time, you don't need to go and be patching and pumping it, because it adapts to the environment. That's a new technology as well that will help us to have clean energy in the environment. There are a lot, but I can't finish all because my time is 20 minutes. But that's for the world view. Now we're going to look at the African view. So what is existing in Africa? These ones I've mentioned is not here yet, but we hope it will with time. So we have the African view. So, of course, Africa's current energy landscape has significant challenges, with over 600 million people without access to electricity. Of course, electricity, I keep saying that just like some people have not, sorry, I told you I have flu. So just like some people have not heard gospel in different areas in the world, the same way electricity has not gone to some places in Africa, even in our own country, Nigeria. So Africa, we have a lot of people that are underserved for electricity, over 600 million. Now, over 970 million people rely on biomass, such as firewood and charcoal. When you go to those villages, you will be surprised that even exist in Lagos State. You would think Lagos is a city until you go to some places that they use charcoal to do some things, to generate energy. So without contributing, this also, when they do all of that, there will be deforestation, because the firewood is gotten from the forest. So currently, 50% of Africa's primary energy needs, such as electricity, transportation, and cooking, from fossil fuels. That's what we always do. While 48% comes from traditional biomass sources, which are unsustainable. So they are not sustainable. So the transition to renewable energy in Africa can potentially change a lot. What can it change? The first thing it will change is to increase electricity output. If we imagine everybody has solar in their homes, I have. In fact, when I came back from PhD, I just decided to buy solar. Because like yesterday, I'm just giving an example, that I was in the house. We're supposed to be having light all the time because of where I stay. But something happened, and the light went, our power holdings collected it. What did I switch to solar? Because the solar has already stored it on inverter. And that inverter will not be generating light for us. So you will eventually not know. Sometimes I don't even know that they've taken light, just because we want to help ourselves. It's not only that clean energy itself. Without the electricity, you can't do it. You can't achieve much. Because that is what powers whatever research, innovation that you have. If you don't have light and it's dark, you can't do anything. So we are talking about renewable energy. We're also talking about the technology that should help us to get this done. So increase electricity output, reduce carbon emission, and drive economic growth. In case when we switch to this renewable energy, this is what we'll get in Africa. So this is in line with the African Union's 2063. Well, Africa is talking about 2063. The Western world is already talking about 2030. 2030 is 6 years to come. This is 2024. So their own is 2030 from everything I've seen. In fact, it was that yesterday I was researching, I saw that we're already in Industry 5.0. I've always been saying Industry 4.0. I didn't know we already moved to 5.0. So now, 5.0, not we, them, but 5.0 is what's already existing. And their own is 2030 to achieve this renewable energy to the maximum they can get from now. Our own is 2016 from African Union. So we are still working. So these are the technology innovations for clean energy. Now, these ones are already existing in Africa and some parts of Africa, not all. So we just list some of the places that have this and are making progress, and some of the places, and I noticed that Nigeria, we've been having a lot of traction from the foreign countries trying to come help us elevate our renewable energy sources. And I believe we will get there soon. Everything here we believe. Our faith is strong. So we have several technological innovations have been applied to ensure people have access to clean. I'm so sorry. So several technological innovations have been applied to ensure people have access to clean and renewable energy. These include solar panels, we've been mentioning that, hydropower, biomass, geothermal energy taps, and wind turbines. So we have shown how wind turbines has even gone bladeless in the Western world. But of course, our own, we are still using the blade wind turbine. And these different innovations harness and store clean energy to ensure we have a more sustainable and eco-friendly energy landscape. So look at the solar energy. So for Africa, Africa possesses immense solar potential with an average of 300 sunny days. If it comes to Africa, we are going to excel in renewable energy, especially for solar. The reason is that our sun here cannot be matched in what is outside in the Western world, because we have more sunny days than rainy days, and we don't even have winter. But outside there, they have winter, and at the same time, they're still developing solar. So, this abundance of sunlight positions Africa as a prime candidate. Prime. Okay, so these sunny days that we have over average of 300 sunny days. Imagine, and it's 365 days in a year. So imagine we have solar. That means everybody will be. No, we don't even have any. We don't need to make too much effort for it to progress the way other people are even making. Then the International Renewable Energy Agency estimates that Africa could generate over 10 terawatts of solar energy. Estimation. And a figure that could significantly contribute to global renewables. So Africa is a potential promising environment for renewable energy to thrive, and at the same time power even outside our own continent. So we have African scenarios here. We have a British company, B-Box, has agreed with the government of Republic of Congo to provide 10 million solar home systems before the end of this year. This is one thing that is happening around in Congo, and also in Morocco. Morocco is also sitting as the best in Africa in solar, and also competing in the world as well. And we also have, in addition to a large-scale farm, decentralized solar systems are making significant strides in rural companies, and we have a company called M-Kopa. M-Kopa, for example, has installed 1.5 solar home system in Kenya, that's in East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, empowering households with electricity for lighting. I can't wait for that to come to West Africa or start with Nigeria, so that it can empower the rural areas. So that if we start from the rural, since we know that in the urban areas we have electricity, so it can start from there to move. That would be a very good innovation. And we need volunteers that can do this, because this is going to thrive, especially in those areas. So we have the wind power. That's the wind turbine with the blades. Like I showed you earlier, there's one without blades now. So this is the one that is working in Africa. However, I've not seen any of this one work in Nigeria like I've been mentioning. So wind power is another crucial component of Africa's clean energy. This is one of the technologies also that brought clean energy to Africa, and particularly in the coastal areas and high altitude regions. So we have the Lake Turkana Wind Power Project in Kenya. And I noticed something. Kenya seems to be grabbing all these technologies faster than us. I don't know why. Faster than Nigerians. Maybe we should look inward and see where we are missing it. Kenya already has solar. They already power Kenya, all the Eastern Africans. And now they're talking about wind power. And Kenya is already doing that. The Lake Turkana Wind Power Project in Kenya stands as a prime example of successful wind energy implementation. So with a capacity of 310 megawatts, this wind farm is the largest in Africa and contributes approximately 17% of Kenya's energy. 17% is a lot. It doesn't look like it because it has not gotten to 50, but it's a lot that they have done. But these are the testimonies that we still have in Africa. So in South Africa, the Hopefield Wind Farm showcases the growing interest in wind energy. Commissioned in 2014, the farm generates around 150 MW of energy, providing clean power to thousands of households. So the success of this project demonstrates the viability of wind energy in addressing Africa's energy. So I don't want to bore you too much because I have 20 minutes. I have the slides. They can share it. But these are success stories. This also is hydropower that had to do with water. We also have geothermal. Why I mentioned the two, the solar and the wind, is because they are the largest so far. But these ones are also upcoming. And we also have bioenergy. So these three that I'm not explaining, I also have them in my slides. So they can share the slides in case for you to look at. Then we want to find out what are the sustainable energy technologies. Like I told you, I'm not an energy person, but I consume and I understand the renewable energies and how they can help us. But my own domain is mainly technology domain. So the sustainable energy technologies transforming the energy sector. We have three major ones. We have the artificial intelligence, which is a buzzword everywhere now. We have the additive manufacturing, and also we have the automation. So for the AI part, what does AI do? What is actually AI? There's something we started. We have these grants. We call it Edu AI Hub. It's a grant from IDRC and CEDA. What it does is we give it out for sub-Saharan Africans to build things in education that had to do with AI. Now, it's in the process of this grant that we realize that most people don't understand what AI is. They just use it as buzzword, and we now started an outreach in the grassroots level where we go to secondary schools and educate them on what is AI. So we have done like 3 different schools now, even though it's not the major of the project, but it's something that came up. So AI is actually developing something, just like the name says, artificial intelligence. So we are the ones that have the natural intelligence. So we want to develop something to behave like us. So something that can take decisions, reason like human, do what humans do. But of course, we can't get this all in one at the same time because there are different levels. However, we still use different types of AI to achieve different things. So we have AI can be used to optimize renewable energy generation. That's the major thing we want to talk about. You can use AI to optimize it. And when you want to optimize something, you want to make it better. So we want to make it so that it will be less stressful and easier to use and efficient. That's the sense of optimization. So how can we use that? AI can predict equipment failures, reducing downtime. Of course, when you power everywhere with solar energy, there might be some downtimes like errors, downtime like, oh, things are not working as it's supposed to work. Who's going to check that? And you have mass community using that. What do? That's where AI can come to help optimize the way you handle these things. Then we have AI can predict weather patterns, maximizing energy output. Remember that prediction is one of the things that AI does when you feed in your model with data. But I know that this is not the class for that, but I'm just trying to say that it can be used to help in our energy and renewable energy processes, renewable energy consumption, renewable energy usage, renewable energy production. Then AI optimizes water flow, maximizing energy efficiency. AI in grid management and distribution. We can also use AI in managing the grid and managing the distribution. The way they distribute electricity. You can also use AI. How can you do that? AI power smart grids enable efficient energy management. So one, by load balancing, which AI balances energy supply and demand in real time. So this time around, you don't need to, every time you run around to go and set it, it does it real time. And the way when you enter your car, you want to drive out, and the GPS will give you the road that is faster and freer. It might not be faster, it might be longer, but it will make sure that it optimizes the path you're following. The reason is that it has seen what is happening real time. Then we also have AI fault dictation. So you can use AI to dictate what happens in your distribution. So in the power distribution, that sometimes when they distribute power, people go and do our way. They go and connect and disconnect. AI can dictate those ones easily. So AI can be used to dictate all these faults that happen, and people go and reconnect and connect. Let's use AI for that. Then also with cyber security, AI secures energy infrastructure from cyber security. So we have, cyber crime. A lot of things happen. Crime doesn't happen anymore it happens anyway physically, but it happens more in the cyber world than even in the physical world now. And that's why we have cyber security. And so you can use that AI to monitor what's going on in the cyber world. So, okay, so AI for efficiency and demand management. Okay, so because I'm running out of time, but I'm going to just say that what this is that you can use AI for efficiency. So AI-driven solutions optimize energy efficiency. So you can use it for smart buildings. You can use it for demand forecasting and personalized recommendations. AI provide personalized energy saving tips. So when you have all these things, it can tell you, please put off your fridge when you're going out, or it can give you a tip. You know the way when you want to type on your system and it completes it for you. That's personalized tips. So there are some tips that can be given to you, and AI can do that also for our energy efficiency and demand management. So we have the additive manufacturing. I said there are three major technologies running this now, AI. And why I stayed more on AI is because that's my line. Then additive manufacturing, and the last one, which is automation. Automation, when you automate everything you do. And also I'm rounding up, so I know my time is up. So additive manufacturing opens up a whole new world. And that is why we can see that instead of us also buying things, we can also 3D print things. We can, instead of us going to spend. So most electronics, to work properly, rely on electrical components. And these components can be so expensive sometimes. So you can also 3D print it. That's why additive technology. So there are features, benefits of 3D printing, PCB, etc. Then the last one, which is automation. Automation is manufacturing technology increases. It has been increasing, but we need to make things work without us doing it. So why we do automation is that we don't want to keep going to that and be doing it every time. We just automate it so that it can be done in the flip of a finger. So why do we do so that all the things that we have to do in manufacturing our energy processes, doing things that have to do with energy savings, we can automate them, and that will help get things done efficiently and faster. Things like commanding switches, lights, buttons, and emergency stop switches. And these are examples of the kind of things that can be automated. You can automate everything, hardware and software. You can automate them by giving commands, and those commands are the programs. So this is what I have for us today, and thank you very much. Do you have any question?
All right. Thank you for the presentation. My question is this. All right. Thank you for the presentation. My question is this: for any establishment that operates without the that operates just manually, and if they want to run with AI or apply AI to their establishment, how they can include AI into their operations for efficiency? Where can they start from? What can they do? What is this?
Oh, what you mean establishment? Do you have any scenario, any example of establishment? A company? You said is it a company, any company or anybody that wants to do inculcate AI into their system? Where do they start from? You start from building the model, but except you want to ask where you don't know anything about AI, you start from getting yourself literate about it, then learning more about it and knowing what to apply. Because if you don't know something, it becomes like it's a mountain, but it's not. Immediately you learn it, you now know, where can it come from? You know, when we used to solve mathematics and they give you A plus B, they're always chasing X all the time. And you know that immediately you learn how to do that, it becomes nothing. So if you learn how to, understand what AI is, which is just a lot of statistical models that you program to do things. And why we have AI, because most times, not only all the time that we feed in data, the one we feed data is what we use that learns with data. So when you learn how to do these things, you will know, oh, so where do I come in? Because if you don't understand, you don't know where to come in. So you first of all educate yourself by getting literate about what it is. And there are different outfits available. Okay, I also have an AI and robotics lab in University of Lagos that I lead. We started it since 2018, and there are different outfits where you can also go and learn how to do AI and what is it actually beneficial for you. You should not know before you not know what to do. I don't know if that answers your question. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chika. Such a very, very exciting and interactive session. So before I go ahead to the next agenda, please, I just want to announce there is a missing phone. If you are looking for your phone, please come and meet me, and then we can go ahead to confirm if the phone is yours. Now, moving to our next agenda, I'd like to bring on board Miss ID Udo. She is the energy advisor of GIZ Nigeria. Please can we give her a round of applause?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you for making out time to be on this side event. Also, big thank you to Dr. Chika for your very insightful presentation. Let's give another round of applause to Dr. Chika. Thank you very much. At this point, I would like to welcome Duke Benjamin, the cluster coordinator for the Just Transition and Inclusion Cluster, GIZ Nigeria. Let's put our hands together and welcome him. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ID. And before I even start, special thanks to Britta for going to tell them at the big stage to reduce the volume so that we can hear a bit more of what we are doing here. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, friends, colleagues, I have the pleasure to welcome you to this side event at WACEE', organized by GIZ. We will be discussing action plans towards powering the Nigeria energy transition in this room, and we will also examine the importance of green skills, technology, infrastructure, and policy and regulatory frameworks as drivers of facilitating Nigeria's goals for the energy transition. For those of you that might not know GIZ very well, we are the German Agency for Development Cooperation. And this year, basically, Germany and Nigeria are celebrating 50 years of collaboration. And we, GIZ, have played a substantial role in this cooperation, implementing projects majorly by our commissioning parties, the German government, European Union, and some other development partners. And we work very closely with our partners in Nigeria. Our projects on circular economy are part of the Team Europe initiative. So what we do basically is providing technical support in the transition to a green economy, specifically providing advisory services aimed at fostering investments, facilitating new businesses or business entries and innovation, and promoting the uptake of sustainable solutions. Our cooperation with the government and the local and international donors has, among others, brought up interventions to improve the access to modern energy services for people in the rural areas, promote energy efficient utilization of Nigeria's natural resources, and strengthen the business entrepreneur ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria's energy transition plan contains as we all know, ambitious goals that indicate the country's commitment to a net zero emission across key sectors to be achieved in 2060. The plan is expected to create significant economic opportunities and also create jobs across various sectors of the economy, including renewable energy, energy efficiency, clean cooking, and electric mobility. So as Nigeria faces growing energy demands, also due to, of course, increase in population, the need for a comprehensive energy transition plan has never been more urgent. This journey involves integrating green skills, adopting innovative technologies, developing resilient infrastructure, and developing sustainable policies. So from renewable energy mix in the power sector, up to transportation, energy efficiency in industries, clean cooking solutions, each of these elements are very vital for reducing our carbon footprint in the country and enhancing quality of life and ensuring equal access to energy for all. Today, at this side event, our panelists will share their insights and expertise on these very critical components and how we can work together with Nigerian partners to drive sustainable impact towards achieving the goals set at the Energy Transition Plan or in the Energy Transition Plan. But before the panel, of course, some of my colleagues from GIZ will give you some insight on the work we are doing with Nigerian partners at GIZ to drive sustainable economic growth in the country for the Nigerian people. So I want to wish us, with this my opening remarks, a fruitful deliberation this afternoon. Thank you all for making it here, for joining, and special thanks to all my colleagues from GIZ that made this side event happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Duke. Please, another round of applause for Duke. Okay, I think we can do better. So another round of applause for Duke. Thank you very much. At this juncture, we're going to listen to presentation of some of the projects of at GIZ. We get to know what we do at GIZ, and I'll be calling Britta Van Eklins, Program Manager, GIZ Skills for Youth Development Program, SKY, to make her presentation to tell us about the SKY program. So a round of applause for Britta as she comes up for her presentation. Please, a round of applause. Let's engage at least. Thank you.
Thank you. It's difficult to hear that with the headphones, no? The applause anyway. So yeah, and it's quite strange to hear my voice through the headphones as well. Could you please play on? Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm very happy to be here today, being invited to introduce the Skills Development for Youth Employment project that I'm heading. I don't want to bore you with a pretty long presentation. I just want to set the frame to know where we are coming from and what we have to do with green skills. Could you move on to the next slide, please? So SKY, as we say in short, is commissioned by the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, the BMZ, our main commissioning party, and the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. Our political partner, and Duke highlighted it, that we are working very closely with our partners in Nigeria. So the main political partner is the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. But we do have a lot of other implementing partners on the federal level, but also on the state levels, because we are implementing in 6 different states. That is Abuja, Edo, Enugu, Lagos, Ogun, and Plateau. So this is our mandate from the commissioning parties. And the project runs from November 23 until October 26. Can I have the next slide, please? We are building upon SKY 1, the previous phase, where we also worked on policy framework, TVET promotion and employment promotion. So we enhanced and established dialogue platforms, helped to develop policy recommendations, different policies regarding TVET and the labor market and employment promotion. And in the TVET field, we developed certain standards and curricula that are the basis for training courses, which are, or competency-based training courses, which are going to be implemented now. We also fostered sector skills councils, so a forum for business sector and TVET institutions to exchange. And in the field of employment promotion, we worked and implemented various active labor market measures, established this is the next slide already, no? I established about 7 job centers, mainly in Edo State, and also worked on a labor market information system. Now in Sky 2, next slide, we are setting and building upon those achievements with the different partners. We will focus very strongly on implementing the policies that have been developed. We will focus very strongly on implementing the standards and curricula that have been developed in different TVET institutes, and also focus on teacher training in this regard. And we will also expand active labor market measures, establish 5 more job centers, and enhance very strongly public-private partnerships, because that is key to an effective TVET system where supply meets the demand, and the demand can only be introduced and confirmed by the business sector. Can I have the next slide, please? So gender is one of our cross-cutting topics. We are having a strong focus on promotion and integration of women, and also people with disabilities. Digitalization is something we will expand on also in order to leverage and upscale our products, be it labor market measures or TVET programs. And one aspect that we really want to foster is the aspect of green skills for green economy. So I would stop here, and I think we'll go further into the discussions, what that means in the panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Britta. Okay, at this point, I would invite Daniel Omoiba to come speak to us about the work at Nigerian Energy Support Program, NESP. A round of applause as he comes up.
Thank you very much, Idrian Abasi. Can we have the slides for NESP? While we have that coming up, so NESP, also known as the Nigerian Energy Support Program, it's a program co-financed by the European Union and the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. And NESP started in 2013. We've had 2 phases, and we're currently in our 3rd phase, which started in 2023 and will run up until 2026. And the primary objective of the program is to contribute to Nigeria's efforts in, creating a sustainable energy sector. And we're trying to do this through the expansion of clean, reliable, and efficient energy. And of course, the work package or the approach to this is basically to provide advisory services to Nigerian government on topics related to energy. Next slide, please. And before we delve into some of the components or work packages at NESP, I'd like us to look at some of our achievements in the previous phase. And one of my personal favorites is the development of that 8 standards for solar PV components under the capacity development component. We were able to map 22 states across Nigeria in getting the grid data. So we have a platform called the SE for All, where developers in the sector can go and get information on grid data in those states. We've also been able to create guidelines for the inspection of solar mini grids in Nigeria. We've developed standards, ISO 5001 standards across 7 industries in the country. And we've also been able to launch a building energy efficiency code in Plateau states, and then we're looking to launch more across different states in the country. So these make up some of the achievements in NESP. There are a lot, as you can see, but I don't want to blow our trumpet too much. So we will just go straight into some of the components of NESP, and we're essentially subdivided into 4. We have sustainable energy access, enabling environment, electrification planning, capacity development, and certification. Next slide, please. So for sustainable energy access, the main work package there is improving access to electricity as well as clean cook stoves in peri-urban areas. And as you can see, there are 3 major sub-work packages where we provide advisory services and support to the Nigerian government with mini grids, clean cooking, and e-mobility. Some of the activities also include technical support to mini grid developers, and then support to LPG cook stove manufacturers and associations. Next slide, please. For the enabling environment component, the aim is to promote energy efficiency and sustainability frameworks in the built environment and industrial sectors. And here you can see some of the sub-work packages: energy efficiency in buildings, industries, and then support to associations. Next slide, please. And then for electrification planning, the idea is to provide data that the industry can harp on to make informed decisions. So there we have data gathering, dissemination, capacity building, and of course energy transition plan support. And some of the activities include capacity building for key agencies, and then development of modes and scenarios for the electricity sector. Next slide, please. And then lastly, for capacity development, the idea here is basically to improve the skills and capacities of professionals working in the sector and across different sectors, subsectors in the sector, like mini grid developers, solar technicians, energy auditors. And then we do this majorly through training partnerships. So we developed a training partner network comprising of public and private organizations in the country. And then we also developed a clean energy certification scheme where we developed 7 courses across different domains in the renewable energy sector. And then lastly, we also engage in curriculum development. Like I mentioned, we developed courses across different domains. So we engage in the development of curricula across different sectors. And then all of these packages tie into one component, which is capacity development. And of course, some of the activities include development of new courses, revising these courses, strengthening the roles of women in the sector, also strengthening the roles of certification bodies, because it's not just enough to develop the courses, you also need to have the bodies responsible for certification that can certify individuals or professionals across all of these subdomains in the energy sector. Next slide, please. So yes, that more or less makes up the work packages that we have at NESP. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Daniel. All right, thank you very much, Daniel, for the presentation. Another round of applause for Daniel. Thank you. So at this point, we'll be delving into the panel session right after the next presentation. And the panel session will be exploring the nexus between green skills, technology, infrastructure policy, and in the energy sector towards powering the Nigerian energy transition plan. So at this point, the moderator of this session will be Akin Ropo Omoware, the head of components for policy and strategy, GIZ, the setting program, Nigeria. So where he's going to put us through the setting program and afterwards moderate the panel. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, ID. Good afternoon, everyone. So very quickly, thanks to Daniel and Britta for keeping it short. So I'll follow in your footsteps so that we can get quickly into the panel discussion. So for the setting program, we basically is the MSME support program. So we provide support for private sector, for MSMEs, to be able to really grow and then, of course, create jobs. So the focus is on creating jobs through the private sector and through the MSMEs. And we do this through about 5 major outputs, which I'll quickly run through. First one is improving the business enabling environment. We know how important government is, regulations and the likes to the MSME. So we try to keep it, ensure that there's a bit of a better enabling environment and investment climate for MSMEs to do their business. So we tackle a lot of issues around that through PPDs and through support to reform implementation. Then, of course, second one is entrepreneurship development, where we support capacity development of MSMEs. We don't do this directly. We work with intermediaries like SMEDAN, training institutions and the likes to be able to really provide adequate training support and BDSP support to the MSMEs that we are supporting. And the third one is improve access to new markets. Of course, MSME cannot grow if you don't sell. So market is always very important. How do we ensure that they're able to access new markets, including digital markets? So we do that as well on that as output. And the fourth output is on access to finance. Finance is important. MSME want to scale, they need finance. So we try to support them to be able to access finance. And the last one is access to sustainable infrastructure. And that's where I'll probably speak a little bit more in terms of what we try to do. So just keep this, move to the next slide. Yeah, just keep this. I think I'll leave this. Skip this as well. On the last output I talked about, which is access to improved infrastructure, we basically support clusters. We work through industrial clusters, through markets, through hubs. And at the moment, we have about 60 industrial clusters that we are supporting in the FCT and in 5 states, Plateau, Niger, Edo, Lagos, and Ogun State, where we currently are working. And we have about 48,000 MSMEs that are in these clusters that will provide support. All those support I already mentioned that will provide to. Next slide. In different sectors, just a bit of sectoral view of the cluster that we are currently working with. Can we have next slide? Yeah. In terms of, we did a bit of an assessment of this cluster just to understand the issues in these clusters. And I'll probably talk about just largely two of them, which is the first one, looking at the infrastructure. What are the major gaps? Of course, energy was top of those major gaps. And today, of course, we're having the energy day today where we're talking about renewable energy and the likes. And of course, we also found that there is a bit of dependence in these clusters on fossil fuel. As you can see, this is one of the clusters, a WACEE market in Abuja. Of course, going there, one of the key things you will see is generators everywhere, right? So we saw that there's a big challenge in terms of the energy, but of course, also they depend so much on the fossil fuel supplied energy. Then, of course, we also did a bit of ESG assessment of this cluster just to understand their understanding of ESG, the businesses, the cluster managers, and believe you me, in those 3 areas, environmental, social, and governance. Governance a little bit better, but social and environmental, it's quite really poor. And so that also emphasizes the need for us to be able to do something around there. Next slide, and then I'll move to the panel session. So what are we trying to do? What are we looking to do? On the one side, we're trying to enhance the competitiveness, and I will leave that part because that's basically talking about developing the business capacities, access to market, finance, and the likes I've already talked about. But on the other hand, the second part, we're trying to enhance their sustainability. And that's where we are looking to facilitate access to green technology. Like I mentioned earlier, you saw the kind of technology that we have there, even through for energy. We're trying to facilitate access to green finance, adoption of circularity, energy efficiency, renewable energy. And so definitely we've been talking to our other projects, our sister project, NESP, because we'll be doing quite a lot together. And so Daniel, just get ready to receive us, we'll be coming to knock on your door on behalf of the MSMEs we're working with, on the clusters we're working with. And of course, on the other side as well, we're trying to build the capacity of the cluster managers on ESG, issues of waste management, and quite a number of issues around sustainability that we're looking to tackle in these clusters. The last slide, just a bit of a view of some of the results we're looking to contribute to, including green technology, responsible productions, the green skills. We are relying on our sister program, the SKY, that will be able to really facilitate a sort of partnership around developing green skills in the clusters, reducing carbon emission, and of course, creating green and decent jobs. These are the areas that we are looking at as far as setting program is concerned. Thank you very much. Even as I change my role, now I'll move as a moderator into my seat. ID, can I have my list back? Thank you. Yes, we have two other panelists that will be joining us on the stage. Permit me to quickly invite Ugochukwu Dike, is the advisor, import processes for renewable energy and energy efficiency of the GIZ NESP program. Is Dike here? Please, a round of applause for him, please. Thank you. And last but not the least, of course, is Ifeoma Obiasogu. She is the advisor, electrification planning, GIZ Nigeria Energy Support Program, NESP. A round of applause for Ifeoma. And please don't stop until she gets to the stage. Thank you very much. The topic has earlier been introduced. We are basically looking at powering the Nigerian energy transition plan, green skills, technology, infrastructure, policy, and sectoral nexus. We'll be looking at all of this together and that's see how we can address some of the key issues here. Even though you are the one sitting last on the panel, but I'm going to start with you. When we talk about the Nigerian energy transition plan, which is like the base of our discussion, probably there are people here in the audience who probably hearing about that for the first time, right? Even though I've been working within the sector, I heard about that very recently as well. So can you just tell us briefly, what are the key elements of this Nigerian energy transition plan? I think there's a microphone there. Okay, thank you.
Can you hear me now? Thank you so much, Akin. I think a lot has been said about the energy transition plan, but just a very quick overview. As it has been mentioned that during President Buhari, at that time ex-President Buhari, he was the president that actually put Nigeria at the forefront during the COP26 to mention that we are also going to achieve our carbon neutrality by 2060. And it's not just enough for us to say that.
Sorry, Ife. I don't know if it's just mine, but I can't hear Ife very well. Is it the mic? Or maybe you need to put it a little bit closer.
Okay, is it better now? Yes. So it was not just enough for the president to say, yes, we are going to achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. It brought about developing the energy transition plan. Now, this energy transition plan is the pathway that will lead Nigeria to carbon neutrality by 2060. And it focuses to address like 5 major sectors. You see the power sector. In the power sector, you talk about electricity mostly. It focuses mostly on the electricity. And then you talk about transportation, oil and gas, cooking. So it goes across these sectors. And one of the major things it looks to achieve is beyond reducing the CO2 emissions and beyond going globally with the whole world to transition, it has to talk, it looks forward to providing modern energy for all Nigerians. It also looks at providing jobs, improving the economic status of the average Nigerian. And it also looks at the people in the oil and gas sector. If there is low demand in fossil fuel, that means another demand is coming up in the renewable energy sector. How do we transition those people? It looks at technology, it looks at these other aspects, and that's why Nigeria is saying that we are not just transiting, that there should be a just transition in regards to energy transition in Nigeria. So in summary, that is what the energy transition plan of Nigeria aims to achieve.
Thank you very much, Ife. And I think for some of us, like I said earlier, who are not familiar with it, at least we can get a bit of our head around it now. Thank you for that. Let me come to you, Britta. Green skills. And you stop at the level of green skills, and you say you're going to talk more about that later in the panel. Now, I know you came in, not up to a year at least, that you came into the country, April. But you are coming with a lot of experience around this topic of green skills. Just to tell us, from what you've seen so far, what do you think we should be looking at when it comes to green skill? And perhaps, what is Sky looking to also support in this area of green skills to help Nigeria to be able to really achieve this energy transition?
Okay, thank you. So thank you, Akin. Just to come back what you said, transitioning to a greener economy, I think already, and not only in Nigeria, worldwide, the transitioning to a greener economy is already hampered by a lack of skills, green skills. And yes, we differentiate between greening occupations, greening existing occupations, and green occupations that are needed or that are creating then green jobs as well, or that are needed for green jobs. So I think a lot can be done with little efforts. There is an effort, of course, involved, like in everything. But this is something we really want to push in Sky, that we go back to the standards that I said we have developed and the curricula, and to look, do they have actually green elements? Do they have green learning outcomes? This is an exercise we used to do in Vietnam, where I worked for GIZ as well in a TVET project from 2015